They say about 10 people will cry at your funeral. 10 people may or may not cry. Maybe it's even less. Maybe it's slightly more. At the end of your life, when no one remembers any of the things, for the most part, that you did. I mean, maybe they'll remember some things. Hopefully they'll remember some things. Hopefully they'll remember the impact you had and the things you did because you weren't afraid of what they thought. But even if you do, it's about 10 people that will cry at your funeral. You spend your whole life, all this time, and we spend all this time afraid of the criticism or the uncomfortable feedback that we're going to get or that we may get. A lot of it is just in our mind. As Mark Twain says, in old age, I've had a great many problems, many of which never came true. I'm paraphrasing a little bit, but that's basically what it is. The point is, the things that we think in our mind, that we're fearful of our mind, they very rarely come true. And if they do come true or they do manifest, it's usually not as severe as we thought it would be. And there's almost always some value in whatever the negative is that we get. And that's ultimately how successful people win in life, is they go out and they throw darts, right? And sometimes those darts don't hit a target and they're off. And when they miss a target, or even if they hit the target for some people, the other people come out of the woodwork and blame them, criticize them, yell at them, scream at them, condemn them, all the things they do. But they keep throwing those darts. And every dart that misses increases the likelihood that a dart will make it. It's just a law of numbers. You throw out a lot of darts, even blindly, some of them are going to hit true. They're going to hit the target. They're going to hit the bullseye. The thing is, every dart that you throw out that misses, and you get that feedback, you either get the feedback from other people criticizing you, or you learn something as to why that dart didn't miss the target, so that on your next aim, you get a little bit closer using that feedback. If 10 people are going to cry at your funeral, it might even be less than that for a lot of people, especially if you have a small funeral. What are you worried about right now? If ultimately that's the best you could hope for, 10 people cry at your funeral, if you're lucky. What are you letting hold you back? The 100 that come to your funeral, the 90 that don't cry, or that feel obliged to come, or whatever it is. Why are you living your life in fear of their opinions? That's ultimately what it is. As we pursue success and happiness in our modern world, as long as we're not doing things illegal, there's almost nothing else that should matter other than being in the arena and doing the thing. Emerson said, do the thing and you shall have the power. Yet so much of our world, and I feel like it's getting worse because of things like social media and all the negative comments that you get, people are afraid to take action. They're afraid to go into the arena. They don't even want to step foot in the arena because maybe they get their nose bloodied. Maybe the crowd boos at them for a while, or whatever it is. You know, the idea of like, you have to do something only if you're perfect or only if there's a guarantee of success. That is a paradox. It doesn't work that way. Like, success is only created when you go out and you fail as payment for that success. That's just the way it is. And then ultimately, no one's going to remember. Most people are tied up in their own minds. No one's going to remember the things you did. They're going to remember the change that you made and the positive things, the impact you had. They will remember that. People will remember it. Most of them will not remember your failures. Every successful person today, Steve Jobs, Apple, Microsoft, Bill Gates, all these people, they had a lot of failures. And even though they've had a lot of failures, only maybe some in the business press might remember those because they wrote about it in the 80s and 90s or whatever it was. Most people don't even remember the failures. They're focused on the success. But the success is built upon the failures. The success is the top of the pyramid with failures as the foundation. And that's the same true for you, for me, for anyone that wants to accomplish anything. We have to get out and not fail on purpose, but fail as a byproduct of trying to succeed. Let me say that again. By getting out and trying to succeed, we will miss the bullseye. That's good though, because you only get better at hitting the bullseye if you throw enough darts missing the bullseye. Baseballs that, I think the number, it's like if you bat a 300 or something, you're still a failure like 80% of the time. Like you literally strike out. The majority of the time you strike out. Yet if you hit, a 3 or 3.0 or whatever the, like a really good batting average is, you are still considered a great success, even though the majority of the time you fail. And then the whole Gretzky quote, you miss all the shots you don't take. You know, Michael Jordan has a great quote about how he's missed the game-winning shot like 20 times. He's literally let his team down. He's lost a championship so many times, but he keeps going in to take the shots and take the risk that he might miss, that he might fail, and that is why he is ultimately a success. Sports is the perfect analogy for life because you're not the perfect athlete. No, there's no perfect athlete. There's no perfect game. And even when there might be, or you get really close, that is not sustainable. Because the law of numbers. Because all we can do is go out and be the best we can, and as a result, make errors and mistakes, miss shots. So just think about it. 10 people may cry at your funeral. May if you're lucky. But if you take more risks and you have a bigger impact, well, the likelihood that more people will cry at your funeral will go up. And I'm not saying that's the point. You don't really want people to cry at your funeral. I mean, I guess it would be good that you impacted more people and you had a bigger difference in the world. So it would probably be good if in aggregate more people cried at your funeral, but that's not really the point I'm going for. The point I'm going for is kind of don't worry about the things that really don't matter, which is usually, as Peter Sage says, the goop. Most people are swimming in goop. Good opinions of other people. They're swimming in goop. Good opinions of other people. How much goop are you swimming in? How much goop is holding you back like quicksand or mud? And when you're trying to swim forward, but you're so worried about the good opinions of other people that you can't take the next stroke, the next step, etc. Because every day you wake up, you have a choice. Do the thing that may be uncomfortable, that might be out of my comfort zone, that might even be painful and hard, and take years even to truly succeed at. What's the alternative? To just come home every night and watch Netflix and worry about your bills and not be the truest, best person you could be, live the greatest, fullest life you could. In my opinion, and this is me, different strokes for different folks, but that is the greatest waste, is to waste human potential. It's the greatest waste. And if we had more people that were willing to take the risks to not waste their potential, the better the world is going to be now and in the future. And that's what we need. We really do. Today's video is sponsored by, I always wanted to say that, so I'm going to start saying it. Today's video is sponsored by Wild Co. Wild Foods. 100% activated charcoal made in the USA from organic coconut shells. You take this when you are drinking alcohol, eating some not great food. Tonight we're going to have, as it's Saturday, a night in. We're going to watch a movie. We're going to have some gluten-free pizza, and I'm probably going to get some chocolate chip ice cream. And I do that, you know, on average once a week. So I don't do it as a rule. I don't think you have to do it, but it works for us. It's a way we can unwind. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 4 of these caps. I'll probably take 2 before and 2 after. And what it does is it helps bind the toxins in your gut, so it passes them through more easy, so it does less damage, and it just makes it easier to get through your system. For some people, especially if you have like IBS or something like that, and you take this anytime you eat at a restaurant or anytime you eat something that's not great, stuff is amazing. In fact, I keep 2 bottles in my car, and every time I run out, and I'm just like, where's my coal? Where's my raw coal? And we sold out of this recently, so we just got it in with the new labels and everything. Wild coal. Wild Foods product, you can get this at wildfoods.co. Use code WILDCEO for 12% off your entire order. Think about it, guys. What are you letting hold you back? The goop of other people? Just remind yourself, at the end, 10 people will cry for you. Maybe less. Ultimately, why do you care? Why do you care about the hundreds that aren't going to be at your funeral, that aren't going to cry for you? Why do you care what they think? Ultimately, you shouldn't. Just do the thing, and you shall have the power.